In today's lecture, I'm going to be showing you guys how to avoid and also how to appeal copyright strikes. Now, I currently don't have any strikes on any of my channels, thank God, so I'm not going to be able to demonstrate it for you, but I will be able to tell you guys everything you need to know as far as the details on how to get rid of them and how to just avoid them altogether. Within copyright strikes, there's 3 ways you guys can receive that. There's also other ways, but the 3 major ways that you guys need to know, which is the easiest ways to get them, is basically by using copyrighted music. Now, this is a really big thing on YouTube. If you use even 1 second of a copyrighted song, the owner of that song could go ahead and basically take down your rights to make money on that video. Okay, they could also strike the video if they wanted to. They can get it removed if they wanted to. There's so many things that can happen with copyrighted music. Okay, so I would just refrain from it at all costs, but I'm going to go ahead and explain exactly how you can avoid that in a second. The second way you guys can basically get a copyright strike on your channel is copyright infringement. It is one of the biggest ways you guys can get a big copyright strike on your channel, and that's basically from taking somebody else's content from their channel. This can be a thumbnail, this could be something in their video, a clip of their video, it could be 2 seconds of their video. Anything from somebody else's channel is copyright infringement, and all it takes is for somebody to come onto your channel, see that is not your actual content, see that is their content, and they can just basically match up the seconds and what your video has their content in, and then they can just mark it as copyright infringement, and then you will have a strike on your channel. With that strike, you will not be able to live stream or receive super chat, and sometimes people abuse that system and they constantly send more strikes at your channel if they see that multiple videos have something of theirs, and that can actually take away your rights to make money on your channel, and it can also take away your rights to upload any videos. So copyright infringement is the biggest thing on YouTube that you need to avoid, and I'm going to be also telling you guys a little bit about that as well. Now, the third way you guys can get a copyright strike is from a big company. Now, this is one of the biggest ways you guys can get a copyright strike on YouTube. Now, basically what happens is people do things with companies, like some people play games. This is mainly for the gamers. If you are a gamer, this is mainly to you, because basically what happens is if you're doing something in a game, say you're doing a glitch, a cheat, a hack, something that the game does not like you guys to do because they feel like you're robbing them for their money, basically what happens is the company will reach out to YouTube and they'll go through this process, go ahead and take down all the videos that's basically against their terms, and basically what happens with that is you could possibly lose your channel. Now, there's been a lot of channels that have been attacked like that in the past who still have not been able to gain their channels back. And if you guys have copyright strikes all over your channels and you lost your channel, the only way you will be able to get your channel back from that copyright strike is if you contact that company, and they are very forgiving and they allow you to actually get those strikes lifted off your channel, and that will be the only way you guys can get the channel back. Now, the first way I was telling you guys about was copyrighted music, and the easiest way to get rid of copyrighted music, you guys can go ahead and check out NCS on YouTube. NCS offers you guys a ton of non-copyrighted sounds that you guys can use and put on your videos. There's also a ton of good channels that actually make non-copyrighted sounds, and you guys can go look in the search engine and you'll find a lot of them and listen to some of the music, and you guys may like something like that for your videos. Now, I know you guys may get really eager, because I get eager as well. I hear a song on the radio or I hear a song on my Apple Music and I really want to use it in a video, but I know for sure I cannot use that actual song. Well, if you guys go on YouTube, there are some people who produce beats, and basically what they do with those beats is they remake them so it becomes their own and it becomes free to use. So what you guys can do is you can go and see if the instrumental on YouTube is able to be used for your video, and you guys can use that instrumental. Now, how can you guys figure out if this actual song is not copyrighted? Well, if you guys go on YouTube, this is for any song on YouTube, and you go down in the description, it will read the rights to you. So it usually is highlighted in blue, and at the bottom it will say something like, this song is highlighted and it is by such and such, and it is owned by UMG, or it's owned by some type of company. It'll have it in the description below, and it'll say it highlighted at the very bottom, and you guys will know that that video has been copyrighted. So if you guys want to use songs that are not copyrighted, you guys can go into the YouTube descriptions of those videos, see if that actually has a copyrighted stamp on it. If it has nothing in the description, if it just says entertainment, or it says how to, or anything in the description, and it does not say who the song is by in highlighted blue, then you guys can go ahead and use that song. You guys should not receive a strike or get any money removed from your actual video if you guys use that music. Now, the second way with copyright infringement, I'm going to tell you guys straight up and simple, honestly, just don't take anybody's content, okay? I know there's a lot of good content out there. Sometimes people want to do reaction channels. They want to sit and create a reaction of a video, and you know, that's really cool. There is ways to get around getting copyright infringement. If you add your own content, you guys should be okay. I have a channel where it's compilations where I basically review videos of big streamers, or I'll do like a compilation of funny moments, and basically what I do is I cut up some gameplay, I talk over that gameplay, I put the clip in, and then I have it roll again where I start talking about the next gameplay, and you guys get it. You go so on and so forth. But with that, you guys will not get any copyright infringement because it is now considered fair use. As long as you are adding your original content to it, like music to it that's yours, you're adding your voice over it, you're putting your face cam on it, and you're talking, that is okay for fair use. Now, if somebody strikes that video because their content is in it and you used it as fair use, they have checked a box on that actual copyright strike saying that if it isn't a valid strike, their channel will be terminated, and you guys can basically go ahead and counteract that strike. And once you counteract that strike and you tell them that this is fair use, I added my own dialogue to this video, I didn't just take your content and re-upload it, YouTube will see that and they'll say, okay, you are abusing the system to the person who is sending the strike, and then their channel will be deleted and your video will be back up on YouTube. So that's how that works, and that's how you can get around it and avoid that. But if you guys are just simply taking somebody's thumbnail, tweaking a little bit here, tweaking, no, if it is just anything similar, they can strike your video. If you guys are taking somebody's video and you're re-uploading it and you're not adding any voices to it, you're not adding any like kind of dialogue to it, you're not reviewing the video or anything like that, your channel will be in danger. They can strike that video and they can keep on going if you have multiple videos on your channel that you did not create or make any original content around. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. If you guys are trying to avoid copyright infringement, the best tips for you guys is just to not use anybody else's content and just create your own, okay? Now, the last and final way you guys can avoid getting copyright strikes. Now, the companies are very, very strict, okay? The best thing you guys can do is put a fair use little copyright description in the bottom of your description box, and it'll basically read out why it is a part of the Fair Use Act, and it'll basically explain that the company cannot strike the video because it is for educational purposes only. You can also put that same paragraph in your video somewhere in the beginning, in the middle, and the end, doesn't matter. As long as it's there, it will protect the video. Now, sometimes people still have that in their videos or in their description and they still get those big company strikes. What you guys can then do is go ahead and email that company, let them know what you did, and explain to that company that your video was not violating any of their terms and it was just demonstrating something for educational purposes only. Usually the company is very lenient. They don't want to take it to court. They don't want to take it any further because that's when money starts to become a part of that situation, and usually these big companies don't like spending extra money on little petty things, so they won't go further with it. So with that, that's how you guys can go ahead and avoid that and just basically appeal that. Now, as far as appealing any of these strikes, like I said, for the music strikes, there's a way you can do it on YouTube. You can cut out the clip. There's a YouTube video editor. You guys can go and just cut out the clip of that music, and there's also extra music down there for you guys to use. You guys can replace the music if you would like. Now, if you guys have dialogue on the video with music together, then you guys will not be able to change the song. It will still go over your voice and go over the entire video, and basically it will just be playing that music, so it won't make any sense for you to just re-add music. I suggest you guys take out a clip. This is a big issue for people who have intros that are copyrighted songs. So if you guys have an intro with a copyrighted song, the best way to do is basically just cut out that entire intro and let your video just start right away, okay? If you let your video start right away, the video will be safe and they will not be able to strike it or take any money from you because the music is no longer in the video, okay? And like I said, guys, if you guys just want to go ahead and appeal these actual songs on your video, you guys can try and dispute it. You guys can go ahead and email the company and say, hey, may I use a song on my video? I think it's really helping your song get a lot more popular, and just explain to that company that you really do not want the strike on your channel, okay? Or you want the copyright claim to be lifted. Now, mainly with the music, they just do claims. They don't really strike you, but it is possible for a company to strike you for using copyrighted music. Now, the next thing I want to talk about on how to appeal a copyright strike from just another YouTuber. Now, this is where it's really kind of dramatic. There's a lot of drama around this. It actually happens to a lot of people. They used to be able to really abuse the system. Like if you didn't like another YouTuber and you had issues with that YouTuber and you see them using something at least a little bit similar to yours, you could strike them, and basically what happens is you guys get into this big argument and you guys start to like fuss at each other, and then either one of the channels ends up getting terminated or one of the channels gets away with just basically having you have a strike on your channel for 3 months. The best way to avoid that is just be nice. All right, go ahead and talk to the person, let them know that, hey, you know, I didn't mean to take any of your content. I'm sorry that it may have offended you if I did this. Can you please remove the strike? Usually the problems that you have with that YouTuber usually kind of watered down, and you guys can come to an agreement. You guys can basically agree to remove the strike from your channel. Now, this is a big problem as well because, like I said, YouTube doesn't do anything about this. It's all in your hands, okay? It's all in the person who strikes you hands. You have to talk to that person to get them to remove it. YouTube can do nothing about it unless it is an abusive move to basically strike your channel. Like I said, there's a better way for you guys to appeal it. That person has to basically tick a mark, basically saying that their channel will be terminated if the strike is abusive and it's not a valid strike. So you guys shouldn't really have to worry about somebody attacking your channel, because if it is invalid, then they will lose their channel, okay? So like I said, the way to appeal those though, you guys can go ahead and counteract the strike, and you basically telling YouTube that it is not a real valid strike. You explain to YouTube in the description box why it is not a valid strike, and basically what happens is they'll go ahead and send it back to the person who copyrighted you. Then they will have to look over it, and then they will have to respond to it, and it just goes back and forth from there. If it gets big enough, it will go to court. But I can tell you this, from all of my years of YouTube and all of my experience of having copyright strikes, it never goes to court. The person is literally only trying to harass you, and usually they do not take it that far, is because that's when money becomes involved, okay? Now, the last part is with the companies, how you guys can go ahead and appeal that. Now, the way you guys can appeal that is by basically just contacting their company, writing a really nice statement and letting them know, hey, I did not mean to violate any of your rules. Can you please remove this strike on my channel? I will not ever violate these rules again. Can you please just make this as a warning? And they usually will be very lenient and remove the strike, because like I said, money gets involved and they do not want to take it any further. Now, we're going to get into the next lecture where you guys will learn how to retrieve your channels back if you have been falsely terminated, or you've been terminated for a reason that you do not know why, or you broke a few rules and you need to get your channel back because you know you won't break any of those rules ever again. So yeah, let's get right into how to get your channel back from being terminated.